The Vatican is preparing to elect Benedict XVI's successor. Firemen have set up a chimney on the roof of the 16th chapel from which the famous white smoke will appear when the new pope is elected. On Friday, following 5 days of meetings, the Vatican announced that a conclave will open on Tuesday. 115 elector cardinals are now in Rome, and thanks to Benedict XVI's decree, which allows an anticipated conclave, a date has been set.
The NGO Doctors Without Borders is looking for an accord that will allow it to operate in conflict zones. This new deal could allow the medical charity to access countries like Syria, where thousands of refugees needing urgent humanitarian aid are fleeing, with medical complications that could be easily treated if access is easy. Details in this report.
At the outbreak of the revolution nearly 2 years ago, more than 1 million Syrians have fled the country as refugees, and the humanitarian situation within the country has descended into chaos. The NGO Médecins Sans Frontières has set up 3 field hospitals just over the borders in neighboring countries, and in Aleppo, Idlib, Deir ez-Zor, and Raqqa, areas now under rebel control. But the hospitals are inadequate to handle the hundreds of injured and ill refugees who show up every day. The MSF has called for greater financial aid and a stronger political commitment from the international community. It condemns the Syrian government for preventing its doctors from venturing into battle zones where government troops have deliberately targeted hospitals and clinics.
Our capacity to help these medics is very limited. For the most part, we provide medicine and medical equipment, as well as training when we're able to access those areas. Concerning this last point, let me stress that the doctors working in these areas are Syrian. It is they who are crossing the front lines.
The MSF says that not only are war casualties in need of urgent treatment, but individuals suffering from serious medical conditions such as cancer, diabetes, or heart disease, whose lives may be in danger without regular medical attention. It could be a child with an appendicitis. Where is he going to find a surgeon? It could be a burn. We were talking about a lot of burn cases this winter because people had to improvise when it came to heating. There are all these conditions not directly linked to the war, which cannot be treated because the country is disorganized. The MSF is urging the Syrian government, donors, and the United Nations to reach an agreement similar to that adopted for Sudan in 1988, which authorizes the MSF to enter battle zones to attend to patients who might otherwise die from conditions that could easily be treated.
We take another break. Before we draw the curtains on this edition of news, a reminder of our headlines. The President, His Excellency Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, Friday began the treatment of the 11th batch of patients with fertility problems. The Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Ajah Dr. Aissatou Njie Sedi, has met with several business people poised to tap the Gambia's huge investment opportunities, a week after attending the opening session of the 57th meeting on the Commission on the Status of Women in New York. The authorities in Kenya have announced the results of the March 4th presidential ballot, ending a climate of apprehension in the East African state. And North Korea has been reacting angrily to the latest UN sanctions, forcing the secretive nation to revoke all non-aggression agreements with neighbor South Korea. That's all in this edition of the news. Thanks for your time, and do join us at 10 p.m. for another newscast. Until then, stay tuned to GRTS.
Africa bele beno mala. it's a warm welcome to another edition of the National Bantaba Forum. And if you've been following our previous program, we've been talking about discipline. We look at it from a broader perspective, and then we narrow it down to discipline in the school, discipline at home. And today we are going to have a continuation of that discipline that we've already started last week, because when you want to talk about discipline, you cannot exhaust it in just 1 hour, 2 hours. So that's why we are back to continue with the discussion. And as usual, I have my panelists with me. They were with me last week. They are here this week as well. And then we now continue with the floor, and then we allow our next participant to tell us your name and the school you come from.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I am Mr. Lami Sar, as I said earlier on, from Serekunda Lower Basic School. I'm very happy here today to be part of you. The subject tonight is about discipline at school. When we say discipline at school, here it means a lot. And I always say discipline in the absence of the cane is giving us no end of problems. Because if a child misbehaves at school, that child must be punished to avoid reoccurrence. All right? But here teachers are afraid of even telling children, to do things that is connected with punishment. We have all had corporal punishment is out of it. Now, where are we going to? If a child misbehaves at school, you the teacher, you dare not to ask the child even to go out of the class, for something that he has done which is not correct. Anything that is not correct is not correct. All right? In those days, I can remember in my days, my father used to take me to the teacher, and the teacher will punish me very well in his eyes. But now, that's not the thing today. Children go to school anytime they want. If they want, they listen to their teachers. If they want, they don't even look at them. Why? There is a reason. We have to look at ourselves and then try to go back, to where we come from. Because when you are at school, you are there for only two things. That is to acquire knowledge and discipline. Knowledge without discipline, forget it. These things has not been happening in the past years. All of us have been to school. We know how we were treated by our teachers. And the gentleman have said, if you look at all these children misbehaving at school, they come from broken homes. A home where there is no father. A home where the mother has no time for the children. If a child has come from a broken home, what do you expect that child to be? Then it is from the home then to the school. At school we ask children, call me your mom. You say, my mom? I don't see my mom. What about your father? I don't know my father. A child who don't know his father, or a child who does not know her mother, is very difficult for that child to go through. Because that child can easily misbehave using that ground. So if we the teachers are there to punish, we are asked not to punish. In fact, we are asked not to take them out for anything. If a child misbehaves, that is it. So do we have to go down on our knees and coax the children and tell them to do this, do that, beg them in their own interest? No. That is wrong. When you misbehave, there must be a punishment that you should face. So that tomorrow, even if you are to do it, you will think twice. Some of these children, some of them are very bad. You have good children among them, but some are very bad, as I said. And the bad ones will always want to influence the good ones. So if they are saying no to this corporal punishment, where do we go? I was punished when I was sent to school. You were punished when you were sent to school. This is why today we are what we are. So our own children now, sending them to school, we say, no, let us not punish them. Let us coax them. Let us beg them. Are you begging a child? No. You punish the child. The child knows that definitely I am punished because of so. Then tomorrow the child will never repeat it again. But all those things are phased out. Teachers are even afraid to talk to their students sometimes. Because you talk to a child, the child will go and say nonsense to the parent. I'm also a teacher of mother. When the teacher is not even aware. That parent will come, not even going through